90 days. Y'all, it's day 62. We're working our way down. We're almost a third of the way in. I'm so glad you decided to join me tonight. Hello, Facebook and YouTube. Hey, Instagram. Thank y'all again for joining me. I think that I do want to say, thank you for trusting me enough to keep showing up. I know that everybody's schedule is different and you can join on the nights that you're able. Please do feel free to do that. If not, catch the replay. I do post it on Instagram. It's posted on all of my other social medias between Facebook and YouTube, both my YouTube channels. I have a teaching channel, but I find myself just doing everything on one channel because I never want what God does for me in my life or the ministry to be separate of my home channel. All of it is what we do for the Lord, right? I don't serve God separately in my home than I do out in the marketplace or the ministry. So I find myself just putting everything in one space, but I do have a separate ministry channel for, other things. If God tells me to do something specifically there, then I want to be obedient to that. With that being said, we're jumping in the 90-day no talk experiment. You guys, y'all are getting all the tea. I don't know why y'all just not, enjoying it all. Y'all are getting all of my life experience. Hey, ma'am, happy Resurrection Day, everybody. Jesus is not in the tomb anymore. He has arisen. And I'm so very thankful for that. It was something about them 3 days. Y'all, I'm going to preach 3 days one day. Not today, but one day I'm going to preach 3 days because a lot of stuff happened to me in 3 days. Hey, y'all, good to see everybody. The 90-day no talk experiment. This is my book. And so if anybody is interested in purchasing the book, you can purchase this on Amazon. It is available on Amazon, and I want you to be able to have it. I think it's a little bit over $16. Hey, Miss Vonzella, good to see you. Also, YouTube folks, I'm going to be live first thing in the morning doing my budget. I did not have time to film it again this month. So we're going to be live online doing the budget. I don't know what time yet. So just kind of work with me there. Thank you, ma'am. I did not have time to change my makeup. I actually had on pink accents this morning. Now I'm rocking the red, but honey, we're going to let it do what it do. Instagram, I do have a little small filter, just a tiny little filter on, so don't come for me because I know that little girl over there on TikTok was trying to catfish that man, but that is not what we're doing over here. I just wanted to smooth out the skin. This is what I really do look like. Just my skin is a little smoother with this little filter, okay? But I have on pink eyeshadow and I'm on red lips, so that is mine. And I still have on this eye stuff, but praise God, right? I'm here for it. Anywho, I was just thinking about it. I'm sharing all of my stuff, y'all. I'm sharing all the things I've gone through over the years. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the things I've gone through over the years. And the reason why I share, right? I mean, I don't have any secrets. I've pretty much told y'all just about everything there is to know. Really, I don't think I've not shared anything. Maybe haven't gone into gross detail on certain things, but I'd much rather you hear my mistakes or you see my process and not have to fall in those same pit holes or trip over those same stumbling blocks that I did. So that's why I share, right? I want, if somebody can learn anything from me, learn what not to do, right? That's the whole part. Learn what not to do. So anywho, I'm sharing it in the book. Anything you want to know about me, it's in the book. All right, we are on day 60. Oh, we're on 61. Oh, well, darn. Okay, we're on day 61. I have to update my title. Sorry, I got it wrong, y'all. We're on day 61. Wow, look at us. We just moving along. Tomorrow will be 30 days in. Look, and I don't feel nearly as exhausted as I did from the love dare. Man, the love dare just takes it out of you because you're dealing with marriage, and marriage is such a integral part of this life. It's such an integral part of what God wanted established in the earth. And when you have two people that are not pulling together but pulling apart, and you're trying to help them get back together, that's a hard space because you got to navigate you and them. In this study, it's just navigating me. I don't have to worry about anybody else. I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight. But tonight is called He That Finds. Right? He that finds. Proverbs 18:22. If you don't mind, would you like the video, share the video? I would love to get at least 5 shares tonight. Sometimes I get 1, sometimes I get 2. I'd love to get 5 shares tonight. That would be so helpful. It just pushes us out into the algorithm. And if everybody that's watching would like the video, that is helpful as well. Thank you so much again. Proverbs 18:22. This is in the Passion Translation. Again, I try to tell everybody, read the translation that matters to you, that means something to you, that helps you to understand what is being said, because King James is hard. Now, I don't negate what King James does. I think it's a good study tool. You get the closest translation in King James, but I think sometimes people need just simple. You just need it real simple. So this is the Passion Translation. When a man finds a wife, he has found a treasure, for she is the gift of God to bring him joy and pleasure. But the one who divorces a good woman loses what is good from his house. To choose an adulteress is both stupid and ungodly. Tonight's section is called He That Finds. When a man finds a wife, he has found a treasure. A treasure is a quantity of precious metals, gems, or other valuable objects. Or it is a valuable object, a valuable person. So he that finds a wife finds somebody that has value. There's a lot of us on this watching this video, myself included, who have never been made to feel valuable. We don't understand our worth. We don't understand what we bring to the table. So when God, God chooses us, we don't understand why he chose us, because surely I'm not valuable enough to be chosen, at least not by you, because you're the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. You are the Savior of the world. You are Jehovah, all the things. And so why would you be choosing me? And it's because other people in our lives have not made us feel valuable. So they have probably pretty much devalued us and everything we've ever done in life. And so that causes us to call into question why God would choose me. I am the least of these. I'd always thought of myself as the misfit. I never fit anywhere. But I actually found my family when I found the family of God. When I found the Lord, it was like, you're supposed to be here. You fit in this place. Don't go anywhere else. This is now where you are supposed to be. Don't go searching anymore. This was the spot that was made specifically for you. I think about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. If y'all as old as I am, every holiday season, everybody wanted to watch Rudolph, and the little elf that was the dentist, right? And they put him on the land of the misfit toys. And he was just like, no, I want to be a dentist. I don't want to be an elf. Or I think he was an elf. Y'all help me. I don't want to be that. I just want to pull the teeth. And then Abominable, he had the little teeth egg, and the guy, he pulls out the tooth, and Abominable stops being mean, because this guy could help this person that nobody else wanted to help. He was only mean because he was in pain, but the dentist could handle the pain. He could take care of the pain. He could take the pain away. As soon as he pulled the tooth, he was back to his right mind, right? So you fit in places where you're helpful, you're needed. The gift that you have that's on the inside of you is necessary for this group of people. I tell the ladies quite often, I said, don't get stuck sitting here in Titus 2 with me. That was not God's word. He said, many women will come, many women will go. Your ministry will be like a revolving door. They'll come in, they'll get what they need, and then they'll take it back out into their sphere of influence. There are women that I'll never touch. There are women that I'll never meet. There are women that I never know. But the women who sit under me know those women. And what my job is to equip them to do the work of the ministry. And then they're supposed to go out and take what we're teaching, what we're learning together, because I'm not just teaching them and they're not teaching me. We're all learning together. But what they learn, they're supposed to then take out into their sphere of influence, because the truth is, I may not fit into their world. I may not fit into their situation. I may not fit into their age group. I have women older than me, women younger than me. And some women will receive and some women won't. But if I equip you enough, or whatever ministry you're sitting under, or wherever you are, if you're equipped enough to go out and do the work of the ministry, then here it is. This is your job to do. You fit somewhere. And your gifting is valuable, but we've never been made to feel that way. A lot of us, especially women in certain countries, women are not the same caliber esteem of men at all. Women had to walk behind the men. Walk behind the men. Or if women, if girls are born, they try to do something differently to the girls because boys are more valued. When they don't understand that if you don't have a boy and a girl to create the next set of children, then you don't have anything. You need both of them to procreate. But, they ain't none of my business. I went back and I was looking up some things because I wanted to understand. It says, when a man finds a wife, he has found a treasure, for she is the gift of God. I always thought it said a gift from God. It said the gift of God, a gift of God. All God's gifts are good in both intention and effect. When this man finds his valuable object, his valuable person, she is going to be good for him in intention and effect. The things that she thinks towards him, feels towards him, her agendas are going to be his agendas, and then she's going to be as beneficial to him as she can. How can I help you? How can I serve you? What can I do for you today? No, you don't concern yourself. Let me serve you. A good marriage is built when the husband and wife try to outserve each other. If you don't have a good marriage, go back and look at your service. Are you serving the other? Are you esteeming that person higher than yourself? Sometimes we don't, because it's all about me, 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 me. Well, I get that, and I understand that you want to be found valuable as well, but don't forget to find the value in your partner, in your spouse. My husband's never going to outserve me. Never. Because I've spent the last 15 years trying to figure out how to serve him. The only thing I'm going to have is a short learning curve trying to figure out the things that he likes. Once I got that on lock, you don't have to ever worry about it. Baby, you need your dry cleaning taken. No, I got this. We need the house clean. The house is already planned. I've got this cleaners coming twice this month. Don't even worry. I know you're traveling. I'm traveling. And we're going to come back to a clean home. Don't worry. Oh, you need a gift for, mom or whatever. There's an anniversary coming. I got this. He's never going to outserve. Never. Period. Now, he may serve me just as well, but he is never going to outserve me, because it is my good pleasure to serve my husband. If the Lord has kept me single this long and he is going to join me with the man that he has for me, there's nothing I'm going to do more than serve this man, because that's going to honor God. And she's good in intention and effect to bring him joy and pleasure. Do you bring your spouse joy and pleasure? I can be 100 here and tell you there were many, 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 I want to say days, months, but that is not an accurate assessment. There were many years I didn't bring joy or pleasure to my husband at all. The truth is, he enjoyed nothing about me. Nothing. He said he made an inner vow to himself after he broke up with his last girlfriend. The next girl I date, I'm going to marry her. I just happen to be the next one. He had to keep that vow he made. I just happened to be the person. We were not the people for each other. He's a great person on his own. I'm a great person on my own. But together we were not good, until the Lord captured both of our hearts. And then it was a whole difference. So you're saying, Shakema, that you married a man that didn't love God. I did. I wasn't serving in the church actively at that point either. But I made a decision after we got married. And I said, I'm either going to serve God or I'm going to serve the devil. You decide. He never decided. I decided to serve God. And I saw my spouse, after 10 years of marriage, come to the Lord. And we were the best in those 3 years that we had ever been. But the 10 years prior, it was rough. It was rough out here in these streets. And I didn't make it any better. I wasn't a gift of God. I was helpful. I could do lots of things. I'm very capable. I have a lot of gifts. I have a lot of areas that I'm able to serve in, a lot of things that I do and I'm good at. But it did not mesh with him. It wasn't good for him. That's why choosing the person is so important in the very beginning. She could be cute. He could be fine. He could have a 6-pack, but honey, by the time it's all over, he got a keg just like everybody else. Listen to me. It has to go beyond the superficial at this point. At the age I am now, although I'm looking at aesthetics, it has to go beyond that. What are you doing for the Lord? That's what I really want to know, because I'm doing stuff for God. And if you're not doing anything for God, or you're not doing something that couples with what I'm doing or pairs nicely, then I just cannot. I cannot. You could be looking like Denzel. You could look like Denzel, honey, and it'd be not a good thing for me. So you have to understand who you are and what God says about you. But the one who divorces a good woman loses what is good from his house. Now listen, I'm telling y'all, all of those who passed up on me missed a good thing. But that is perfectly fine. I hold no ill will against people. You have to know what's best for you. I don't want to do 18 more years of what I did the first time. I'm going to be in love forever. I'm going to be on my honeymoon forever. My husband and I are going to make good love. It's going to be all the things, period. Why do you say that, Shakema? Because I've prayed and asked God, and God has prepared me for that, and I'm ready for it now. A gift is a person who the speaker loves or who is valued for the assistance that they can give. What can you offer your spouse that is something they cannot do for themselves? Right? I often hear men say, "Oh, I don't want a woman who is high maintenance." Well, here's the truth. Any man that finds me now will understand the value at which I'm at, the level at which I'm able to take care of me. If I'm carrying a Coach bag, I can buy a bag. If I'm wearing what is that? Yves Saint Laurent. If I'm wearing Louis Vuitton. If I'm carrying around Gucci. If I got on Givenchy, whatever it is, at this level, I can afford that for me, for myself, because I'm older now. I've worked. I saved my money. My kids are grown. I work several jobs. I do all the things. So this is the level at which I can take care of me. So don't think you coming over here talking about, oh, she's so high maintenance. If you can't afford what I can afford, then I am too much for you. Because I'm just on a base level. Anything a man wants to give me in addition to what I can do for me, that's my benefit. That's my gift. That's the extra on top. That's the plus more. That's exceedingly abundantly above all I could ask, think, hope, or dare to dream. Right? So we get it twisted a little bit. If you know you can't afford what I can do for me, do not approach. Do not approach. And I'm not saying that ugly or meaning it harmfully. It's just going to cause contention and friction in the union or in the relationship, because you're going to think she just wants too much. No, she doesn't. This is what I can do for myself. I don't need another bag. I got about 20 in that closet right now. Trying to find a place to give them to. I got enough stuff. I'm not a stuffed person, actually. I own some Gucci. I have had some Gucci before. I have lots of name brand bags, but I carry around a little $16 bag I got off Amazon. It's a crossbody bag. It does what I need to do when I got to move quick. I grab that and go. So I'm not a stuffed person, but don't think that you buying me a designer bag is going to do anything for me. It's very much not. I'd much rather you spend 3 hours with me, a focused, locked in time. That's going to do a whole lot for Shakema. Okay, I'm just getting to a point. After reading, at the reading of this, I will have been single. It will have been 15 years since my separation and divorce. I'm on page 77 if anybody is following along in the book. This is wild to me. I can't believe it. The truth of the matter is that I've always wanted to be married and never planned to be divorced. It just wasn't a thing. I was raised to be a wife. My grandparents raised me to be a wife. I was lovingly and affectionately known as my grandfather's little wife. The only thing we didn't do was what him and my grandmother did. I cooked, I cleaned, I did laundry, all those things. And I did those things for my grandparents because they raised me to be a wife. And I never in a zillion years would have thought that I was going to be divorced. When I got married and I said my vows, I said that before the Lord and witnesses. I often tell people, if you don't want me to say something when you decide you don't want to be with your spouse anymore, don't invite me to your wedding. Because there's a part in the wedding ceremony that says, those witnesses here, we have an obligation to say something when somebody is acting out. When you're trying to go over here and step out on your marriage and he don't want to stay no more and y'all trying to be divorced, I have an obligation to say something to you. Oh, nice. Amen. I have hope. I have hope in the Lord. I have not given God an age limit. It is as he wills, whatever he says. But don't invite me if you don't want my opinion when you acting crazy. Yes, I know he didn't do this, and this, but tell me what you did. Because see, I don't want to know about him. He is irrelevant at this moment and in this conversation. I want to know what you did or didn't do. And then we can work him in if that's necessary. But right now I'm talking to you. But I never thought that I was going to be divorced. And I thought I was a pretty good wife. Well, we already know what my ex-husband thought about that. He said, you're not the right kind of wife I need. crushed me, almost tore my soul out. I was in it till death do us part, but clearly we are both still on this side of glory. I'm slightly ashamed to admit when my ex left, I knew this. Y'all, I knew this on Mary, her little lamb, and his 12 disciples. I knew this in my spirit of spirits, heart of hearts, that I was going to be remarried in a year. I knew for sure within a year I would be married because somebody out there wanted me. I knew for 100%, convinced. I could have taken that whole thought process, taken it to the place and bought a lotto ticket and knew I was going to hit the lotto because I was just that convinced. I knew I was going to be married within a year to the man of my dreams, and I would be happily ever after. I was certain nobody could tell me any differently. But oh well, that is not quite how it worked out. It just didn't work out that way for me. I don't even think I got off the altar for 3 years, and it was 6 years before the Lord told me I had permission to date. And it is now 9 years past that number. So I'm at 15 years. July will be 15 years. I 100% admit to not knowing anything at all. And here I am thinking I was so smart. It never crossed my mind. This is where we're going to stay for a minute, ladies. So if anybody is taking notes, take them, or, just file it away. It never crossed my mind, not even once, that I would need to heal from the previous 18 years of trauma that I had been a part of. Healing never crossed my mind. I just knew that one man was gone and another one just needed to step on in and all life was going to be great. Had I gotten someone 15 years ago, a year after I had been separated and divorced, I would have done major damage to that person. Major damage. And how do you know that, Shakema? Because I was damaged. I was just not right in my mind. This man told me I was not the right type of wife. I was called stupid. That wasn't going to work. This wasn't good. I was not good for anything. And here I am. I do a lot of things well. You all see it and comment on it quite often. I couldn't clean good enough. I couldn't decorate. I wasn't allowed to put pictures on my wall. I have a complex right now about putting holes in the wall because when I was married, I was not allowed to put anything on the wall. Nothing. If anything got decorated, he did it. I was not allowed. I couldn't have people over. I couldn't entertain. I couldn't do anything. Nothing. And here I am wanting, praying, hoping for somebody to come into my life, not realizing that 18 years I was with a person who didn't want me. He wanted what I could do for him because I was a good person. I had lots of giftings. But I was so messed up. I didn't think that I needed to heal. It never crossed my mind that I had bad habits and tendencies that I needed to be delivered from. Again, wasn't all him. Shakema owns her stuff. My mouth is quick. Say something. I got a rebuttal. Say something. Oh, I'm coming back with one. Oh no, my clapback is on point. Back then, right? It was horrible. I had to process that out. I had to realize it never crossed my mind that there were certain things that he probably asked me not to do that I did anyway. Oh, we arguing this thing out. I don't know where you think you're going, but wherever you're going, I'm going right behind you because we are finishing this today. Lots of things that I had to deal with. It never crossed my mind that I could do major harm or damage to a new man I was praying into my life. I never considered what toxicity I would bring into a new man's life. Don't ever think somebody else is toxic and you don't have traits, because when you mix toxic with whatever you got, there are some things that you get the residue. You get residual of that. I grew up in a very volatile household, arguing every night of the week, cussing, fussing, fighting, drinking, addictions, all the things. I saw men in and out of the house with my mom, never with my grandmother. My grandmother was married the whole time, but just crazy stuff. And here I am thinking that I'm going to go and find this new person, or this new person's going to find me. And I haven't dealt with any of that stuff. None of it. I never considered my children and how they would process a divorce or the introduction of a new daddy. Never thought about it. I just knew I needed a man. I didn't even consider if my children needed a man. Probably they didn't need anybody for a long time. They needed to get over the fact that their daddy wasn't here. So here I am trying to replace old daddy with new daddy, and now we got issues. Because old daddy, for whatever he said, ain't gonna let just new daddy come in and do whatever he want. Now we got conflict between the daddies. But it never crossed my mind. I just wanted what I wanted. I needed what I needed. I felt like I needed a person. Here's what I had done. Again, going back to my tendencies, my bad habits. I had made my husband my world. He was my world. He was everything. He was the air I breathed. But if I go back to Acts, if I go to Acts 17:28, I'm going to roll over to Acts 17:28. And I got a point, y'all. I promise you. Acts 17, Romans, Acts. Nope. Acts, Romans. Oh, Acts, Romans. Sorry, y'all. 17:28. 17:28 says, certainly we live, move, and exist because of him. As some of your poets have said, we're God's children. We've heard it in other translations. It's in him that I live and move and have my being. See, my priorities were all wrong. I had an altar and an idol set up of marriage and my husband. And the Bible is clear. He said, thou shalt have no other gods before me. I didn't have my priorities correct. It was misconstrued in my head about who was the Lord over my life. It was misconstrued over my life and in my life and in my mind. And I thought that my husband was the number one chief person, and he was not, and still is not. I had a man tell me one time, he said, you're not going to find a man that will be second to any man, including God. I said, well, I beg to differ. I said, I think I'm going to find a man that knows that I'm second to God in his life. So he'll understand when he's second to God in mine, because we'll be on the same page spiritually, where we know that the Lord is the head of our life. But it was all wrong. It was all wrong. He was everything to me. And God was whenever I had a crisis moment or there was an emergency, I would go to God when there was an emergency. Today I go to God, should I wear this? Does this make my butt look fat? I go to God for everything, period. So I had to get that part right. As smart as I was, I really wasn't using my brain in that thought process, not in the least. What does it mean to heal, to become sound or healthy again? I had to become sound and healthy so that I could be good in my intention and my effect, and I could be seen as a valuable object. Remember, we're trying to be assets, not liabilities. We all want to count our assets. Assets add to your net worth. Liabilities take away from your net worth. When you're with this man or with this woman, what do you do? How do you act? What do you like? Is he holding his head in shame like, Lord, here she go again, out here acting crazy? Truth be told, my ex-husband was embarrassed to be with me. He was just embarrassed. I don't know why that is, but he was embarrassed. I would wear kind of some of the same things I wear quite often now. And he didn't like any of that. He didn't like me to wear dressy clothes. He's like, don't you have regular clothes? These are my regular clothes. This is what I wear all the time. I just like to wear heels, and I like to wear nice clothes, and I like to wear dresses. And this is just, jeans are not a thing. If I don't necessarily love jeans. I think for about 10 years, I may have had one pair of shorts. I may never have worn them. It's just not my personality. I appreciate this. I think about it now. What if my husband likes tennis shoes? I love that. We were at the question is how did I find out he was embarrassed? We were at a ball game. I think, was it one of my kids? One of my kids was playing youth ball or something. Youth ball, and we were at the ball game. And there was a person, I guess from his job or somebody that I was not familiar with this individual. And they came over to us and they spoke to my husband, and the man said, "Is that you?" Pointing to me, and he didn't say anything. And he said, "Is that you?" He didn't say anything. So I reached across and I said, "Hey, my name is Shakema. I'm his wife." And when we got home, he told me, "I embarrassed him. You embarrassed me." And then again, my clothes. I don't believe in wearing jeans. It's just, I mean, I wear them now. I don't mind wearing them now, but it's not my preference. I'm always going to go to a pretty dress or something like that. That's what I prefer. But, you know, and then because I was graduated. I had graduated, got my degree, and he didn't have his degree. So whenever I would go to a business function or something like that and he would come, he would feel ashamed because he didn't have what I had. Even though I don't care what you have. That wasn't the reason I got with you. I love you, whatever you have or don't. But it was still just, it was mismatched. We were mismatched in so many ways. And to him, because I made more money, I, was in positions in the State Department, doing stuff with the state and doing stuff with professional organizations and stuff. It just wasn't a thing to him. So, I mean, at least I knew, had I known before, it would have helped me out. But I still needed to heal. I needed to become sound or healthy again. And I don't even know if I was healthy before, right? I knew I was always meant to be married. I've always wanted to be married. But this time period, this 15 years has given me so much time, even though I didn't want the time. I didn't want the 15 years. I don't want 15 more minutes of this, but it is where I am at the moment. And I'm thankful for that. But it gave me time to go in and look at Shakema. I would pray and ask God, and I still pray this: show me me. Show me every dark area, every hidden space, every wound, every unchecked thought, everything about me that I need to see about me. See, a lot of people, when they go through a breakup, and this is for men and women. Again, I'm giving you my tea. You got your own. This is for both of us. When you go through a breakup, we spend so much time evaluating the other person. And again, I share my ex stories because they're the stories that I have. Again, he and I have no issue. We have no issues. There's no beef. We get along just fine. Our communication is for the children. We don't have personalness together, and that's perfectly fine. So some people can say all she does is talk about her ex-husband. She must be mad. I'm just sharing stories. I am not angry at all. It was necessary for us to part. It was the better choice, to the point where I said to him, if your leaving me makes you better, then I want you to go. Well, I'm going to keep you for. I don't hold people. You don't want to be here? That's fine. Make your choice. Very good. But I loved him enough to let him go, and did a lot of things for him after he had gone that still said, I love you. I do. Are we going to be together? Not ever again in life, but I love you enough, like Jesus right here. But I needed to be healed. And that also means to correct or put right an undesirable situation. All of my past, all of my growing up formative years, everything I had went through with my raising and my mom and my dad leaving and all the things, I needed time to work all that stuff out. But I just didn't think about it then. I was so wanting what I wanted. I wanted a husband. I wanted somebody in the house. I wanted to make love again. I wanted, child, let me tell you something. Okay, you got to pray for the Lord to keep you over here 15 years. I'm like, Lord, you're going to have to keep a girl, because, ma'am, even to the point, y'all, that we used to sleep on a queen size bed. When he left, I went down to a twin. I slept on a twin size bed for 7 years. I didn't need no remembrances of nothing that had happened ever in that bed, or I didn't want to roll over and there was nobody there. So I had to even process my singleness. I needed to process being single. I needed to go through the process, right? To deal with someone using an official or established procedure to operate by means of a program. I had to get on God's program. What does God want for me? What does God say about me? And then he brings me over to the Proverbs 31 woman. Shakema, this is the woman that you want to introduce to somebody. This is the woman who the man finds and obtains favor from the Lord, because there is a supernatural, unusual favor that is over my life. I can't explain it except to say it is the Lord. Those of you who have been with me for a long time, you have seen what God has been able to do over here for us. None of it should be possible. None of it was by my own hand. I didn't do a thing. But can I tell you that there is a supernatural favor that is over my life? But I could not attach, connect, meet, embark on anything until I could understand what I was doing, what my bad habits were, how to not do those anymore, totally surrender to the Lord, become Proverbs 31, because this woman over here does a lot of stuff. I mean, she reminds me of me sometimes, but there are still some things that I needed to learn from her. Although I am good at everything, I don't need to say yes to everything. Here's the deal. I tell my friends quite often, when God sends my husband, I'm going to be unavailable for at least 6 months to a year. Don't call me. Don't ask. You better get all you can out of Shakema right now, because I am going to give myself to my husband. He must have all of me. Because before, when I was married, I was at the church 4-5 days a week. I was in this auxiliary, that auxiliary. I was helping over here. I was helping over there. I was doing this thing and that thing. And I didn't know no. I didn't know the word no. It was not a part of my vocabulary. Can you? Yes. Will you? Sure. Can you? What time? I was everywhere, and I didn't give my marriage what it needed because I just thought, oh, I'm married now. Okay, great. I didn't understand marriage. I didn't understand that the single people should be in charge of the church because married people have married stuff to attend to. I understand it now because I've been single for a while. Wow, okay. That woman got to go home and tend to her husband. I don't have nobody to go home and tend to. Sure, I can come to the thing tomorrow. I'm available. Now that my children are older, I'm definitely available. Well, what I got to be doing? Nothing. If my children were not here, y'all, this is what I would do. I come home from work because I work my job 7 to 3 every day. I come home from work, put on a little something because I'm sure I would have made ahead some food. Put on a little something and I come sit at my computer and I work. This is what I do because I have time to work now. If you go back into Proverbs 31, I hope I'm making sense and I hope it's getting into somebody because I just needed to share this. If you go into Proverbs 31 and start at chapter 10, who can find a wife with a strong character? She is worth far more than jewels, right? I hope my character is strong. I hope that I haven't tarnished my character by some of the things I've done, things I've said, the people I've connected with or haven't connected with, or, past mistakes, all those types of things. I try to live a godly life. I try to live a life that is pleasing to the Lord, according to Matthew, like we talked about last night. Her husband trusts her with all his heart and does not lack anything good. He can put his heart in my hands and know it's safe. He can put his children in my hands and know they're safe. My children are safe. He can put his money in my hands and know it's safe. My money is safe. Right? See, I had to become all of those things. Before, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, honey. People shutting down their accounts because we NSF and then drawing over and all this stuff. What is going on here? What is going on here? No, ma'am. Now I don't overdraw my account unless it's an oversight on my part, and I'm always citing. I'm looking and I'm working them numbers. When the Lord said no more Amazon, guess what? No more Amazon. I'm about to do what I need to do over here. And I'm like, okay, God. But he had to understand, or the man that God sends must understand that he can trust me with everything. With your investments, you can trust me. With your deepest, darkest secrets, you can trust me. Who am I going to tell? You cover your husband. You don't go and give everybody his game. You don't give everybody his business. Now, if you're being hurt, if there's something that's happening to you where your person is being harmed, of course, tell everybody. Tell anybody and everybody. Get to safety. But do not tell the deepest and darkest things that he's only saved and reserved for you. There are certain things about my ex-husband I will never tell to anybody except my new husband, because he needs to know. This is what I have dealt with, and this is where I am with that. That's all I'm saying. She helps him and never harms him all the days of her life. He has to know that my intentions towards him are good, that I'm going to defer to his opinion, that we're going to at least talk about things before I make big decisions, that I'm not out to get him, that I'm not trying to manipulate him, because manipulation is as witchcraft. I'm not withholding the goods because he won't do what I want him to do. No, you're safe here. My body doesn't belong to me. And I know a lot of people think, oh, Shakema, you just saying that right now. No, ma'am. I am telling you. The word of God says, do not withhold yourselves from each other except for a time of prayer. Now, babe, how long we praying? Because he said, if you do, the enemy's going to find a foothold in your marriage. You will not get a foothold over here. He can have what he wants, when he wants, how he wants it. As long as it does not cause me to compromise my relationship with the Lord, we good. You don't mean that. Yes, I do. With everything that's on the inside of me, I mean that. She seeks out wool and linen with care and works with willing hands. She is like a merchant ship. She brings food from far away. She wakes up while it is still dark and gives food to her family and portions of food to her female servants. I get up early in the morning. I cook meals. Jackson cooks a lot of the meals now. That's just because he likes it. I don't need him to cook for me. Some women out here right now, they don't cook nothing. They just hire people to come in. My money ain't that long, and I'm not trying to waste it all on something I can do. So I get up early. I'm up every morning, 3:34, 4:30 sometimes. Sometimes the Lord will let me sleep till 5:30, praise God. But most mornings I'm up about 3:30 or 4 o'clock. I have things to do. And I'm up pretty late, still doing all the things. But what I am going to do is take care of my household. You don't have to worry about, I was in Alana's room today cleaning because we're having, the floors are getting installed. And I was in her room cleaning, and I'm looking at the level of dust bunnies. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here? She's like, Mom, my room is clean. No, ma'am, it is not. But I am here to help you. And it's the same for every area. I have touched every area of this house. And if I can't do it, then I hire somebody. You're too tired, babe. You can't do the yard. Don't worry. Mr. Jerome will be here. I've already scheduled out stuff. We know where we're supposed to be 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks ahead of time. That's the type of individual I need to be for my coming husband, because I couldn't be that for my other husband. We weren't going anywhere. We didn't have anything to do. We were not serving ministry together. It was not a thing. But this time, who I'm praying for, because of the mantle that's on my life and the mantle that's on his life, I got to be on my A game. And I couldn't have done that 15 years ago. I needed time to get on God's plan about some things. I'm an entrepreneur. I work and I bring in financials. I don't need to come home. God give me a husband. The first thing I do is sit home. What am I doing at home? Unless he needs me to be his executive assistant, which I've been before. I was an executive assistant for 11 years. And yes, I can do all of those things. Now, if you want me to come home, fine. But I never want to hear that all you do is stay home all day and I have to pay the bills. Don't say that to me, because I'm very perfectly fine working. But if he desires me to be home and manage, I'll be home and manage. Okay, I'm moving on. She's all these things, right? She picks out a fields and buys it. She plants a vineyard. From the profit she has earned, y'all, I got a whole garden out there. I'm planting all the things. I'm trying to get my grapevine to come back. We trimmed it really, really, really bad. And so I'm trying to get my vineyard going out here. But I do all of the things. And I didn't do all of those things before. It had to take me losing what I thought was the most important thing in my life, and then finding or gaining the most important thing in my life to show me the path that my life was on and to take. And now, 15 years later, July 2024 will be 15 years later. I'm finally ready. I was ready a couple years ago, about 2-3 years ago when I turned 45, but I was ready. This is the 3rd year from 45. I'm in my 48th year. And God, what does God have planned for me? It's something about the number 3 in my life that just makes all the difference in the world. And I can't explain it to anybody, but I can tell you that I am right exactly where I'm supposed to be. Got to move on. It took a long time for me to process everything that was happening to me, as well as what it was teaching me about myself and my future. I had to learn those things. And here's the thing: you say you can't teach an old dog new trick. Not true. You can teach anybody anything as long as that person is willing to learn. Anything, as long as that person is willing to learn. That's what you do. You teach. If I were going to be the woman who brought favor into the life of a man, I had some major work to do on me. We can't go back and try to fix the person. I have to fix Shakema. And really, I have no wherewithal to fix Shakema. Remember the woman at the well? She said, "Where's your husband?" "I don't have a husband." Said, "Yeah, and the one you with ain't right now, you ain't married to." A lot of us we got a lot of backstory. But when Jesus comes in and he tells us about ourselves, then we get ourselves together and we go out and tell everybody, "Let me tell you what Jesus did for me." Okay? That's where I'm trying to live, where what Jesus did for me, not what he needs to do or change or fix in my ex. That ain't my problem no more. He got a new wife to worry about that. I got to worry about Shakema. And then I can't bring all the old baggage into this new relationship, or I'm going to end up with the same one I had before. I think my pastor shared this with us. He said 20% of second marriages last. Only 20%. 80% of second marriages fail. I will not fail. I said to the Lord, if a second marriage will fail, then maybe I didn't say it, but I'm saying it now. I said it, but I'm sure not in these words. If a second marriage is going to fail, I don't want it. I don't plan to fail. Because I've done the work. I've put in the time. 15 years worth. Working on me, getting rid of the bitterness, getting rid of the anger, getting rid of the self-pity. Why don't anybody want me? Rah, rah, rah. Boo hoo hoo. All the stuff. I don't cry anymore about that. I just live. I live my life. I don't go out to places looking for men. I just show up. And wherever I am, this is me. I show up at places. I go out to different civic events and different church events and whatever. I don't go there thinking, "Oh Lord, is my husband gonna be here?" I just go to. If you invite me, I come. I'm gonna be dressed. I'm gonna be cute. My hair gonna be did. My makeup gonna be slayed, and I'm gonna be whatever. If he finds me out there, very good. He gonna find something. I had to become that treasure. What was treasure again? A quantity of precious metals, gems, and other valuable objects. I had to become that valuable object. Everything I needed to be this treasure was already within me. It just had to be uncovered, cultivated, and matured. Everything that we need in us to live a godly life is already in us, according to 2 Peter 1:3. What we have to do now, if you go over and start reading in James tells you how to mature spiritually. And then we got to start maturing in other things. You got to get your health together. I've lost recently 80 pounds, 60 pounds this past year, 20 pounds previous, but 80 total pounds. Get yourself together. I plan to have a very robust, listen to me, I'm praying. I have prayed this for years. God, I need to have a robust love life. Robust. Because I've got time to make up for. I had to get my spending together. We're out of debt. We don't owe anybody. We're not going to have the money pressure. We're not going to have the money pressure. I'm not going to have money pressure. I had to make sure my children were healthy and well and have a good established relationship with their father, so they don't feel like their dad is being replaced, but they're getting a bonus person in their lives. I had to make sure that I was okay accepting my bonus children, if he has any. I had to make sure that my heart was big enough to receive those kids just like I received my kids. And how do I know that? Because y'all, I'm getting a son in love, and I love Keith just like he is my child. I didn't birth him, God knows, because his head is big, but I didn't birth him. But I'm very thankful that God has blessed us with him, and he is knitted to my heart just because he's with my daughter. And I love her. I love him. So that there's room here for whatever he has. If you have children, praise God. I'm happy about it. Whatever. I had to make sure, though, that I had enough room, because I can't treat my kids this way and your kids this way. They all the same. Everybody gets the same. Everybody gets the same Christmas present. Ain't no favorites up in here. I had to work on my communication. What am I hearing you say? Can we sit down and discuss? I'm unable to discuss this with you right now. I'm feeling an emotion. I need a timeout. Here are our boundaries for discussion. If we're going to discuss, I'm not going to bring up the old stuff. I'm not going to cut you and try to, bring up stuff that hurts you or wounds. I'm not, but we are going to need to discuss these things. I had to set up those boundaries. I had to make sure that I had my friend group intact. And I had to make sure that they knew there are things about my husband I will not discuss with you. I love you. You are my ace. You are my girl. You are my person. I'm not going to discuss my husband with you. I will not uncover him. I just won't. The only time when that needs to be discussed outside of you and him or your pastors is when you are being harmed. That needs to be immediate. Go to your nearest hospital, law enforcement, fire station, go somewhere and get yourself some help. But if these are just things I don't like, things he doing, stuff that's on my nerve, we're not uncovering him. We're going to work this out between you and I. I had to make sure that I could deal with in-laws. Okay, as old as I am, I assume he is my age or older, somewhere around in there. Aging parents are a real thing. Can I take care of his parents? My mom is passed. My father is married, so his wife is there with him. Can I take care of his parents if they needed that from me? If he said, hey, we got to take mama because daddy passed, or I got to take daddy because mama passed. Do I have that capacity? Can I handle his schedule if he travels? Well, God has given me a travel ministry, so I know the life, right? All of those things. I just had to uncover what I was able to do. I had to cultivate it, and I had to mature into some areas because there were some areas that I needed help in. The weight was one. It took me a minute to get my finances together, but once it clicked in my brain how to do it, I got it. It just took me a minute, but I got it. You're safe here. You're safe here. My eye's not going to be turned to another man just because he got a 6-pack and you got a 2-pack. I'm partial to 2-packs. I'm on a diet. Remember, 2 is enough. Very good. Kind of like a diamond. It's within the coal. It just takes a process to become visible to the one who needs to see it. I read some let me see. Ephesians 4:22-24, to put off yourself, which belongs to you, to your former manner of life, and is corrupt through deceitful desires, and to be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and to put on the new self, created after the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness. I had to not be who I was before. I had to be somebody new. Becoming a gift from God is not easy. It takes work. You got to unpack every single bag you got. You got to unpack the change purse, y'all. We so busy worried about the big suitcases. Then we'll go down to our smaller, carry-on bag. No, babe, you got to even unpack your change purse. You got to unpack it all. You got to take it all out. Right now, if I showed y'all my living room, I would be mortified because y'all know I don't roll like this. But I have 2 bedrooms worth of furniture in my living room, and I am forcing myself not to go in there, at least try to organize the stuff in the living room, because I know as soon as the floors get done, I'm gonna be able to put it right back. But I have these tendencies. I can't deal with a whole lot of stuff at one time, but it's in there. But I had to unpack it all. And as we were unpacking stuff, I'm like, oh, this can go in the trash. That's trash. How about this? You got to unpack that stuff. Keep what is necessary and throw away the stuff that's not. Everything that ever happened to me before is not necessary in this new relationship. It's just not. And nobody should have to pay for somebody else's mistakes. You should get your own turn to have your own experience with me and I with you. Judge me on myself, not on her, because I'm not her. I just say to a man one time, I grabbed his face. I said, I'm not her. I don't know what she did. I'm sorry. Can I apologize for her? Because she's making my life horrible. I've only dated one man in 15 years. 6 months too long. Should have been 6 days. 6 days was enough. And I won't make those mistakes again. I won't. With the Lord's help. It's not easy, but it's worth it to the person receiving the gift. Think about it. When God wraps you up and he puts you in that box, and that man or woman begins to unwrap you, and they begin to see, oh my goodness, when the man is on his knee and he opens up the box. This is not about proposal, but just a illustration. When he opens up the box, she pulls out the ring. She is like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Now, her mother got on a 14 karat diamond the size of your eyeball. But to her, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. He spent time. He looked. He had it custom made. He got the band the right size. I love this cut of diamonds. She might like a princess, and this is an oval shape, and she thinks it's the best thing ever. I'm just like all the things. That is what you are to someone when he opens the package and he's like, oh my God, you're the woman I've been waiting for. I've been praying for you. I've had everything else under the sun. That's something else you got to deal with. You got to be able to process his past because it is what it is. Everything before me is irrelevant to me unless he still has little children and we still dealing with ex-spouses and baby mama stuff. If that's okay, I got to deal with that. That's fine. But everything else, who he been with, what he did, where he took them, how much money he spent, because he might have spent it all on her and ain't much left for you. That's okay. I know how to manage finances. Let's do it together so we can all get into a good rhythm here. You got to learn how to process all of that. To become that gift is so worth it for the other person. Because once you give the best of yourself to them, hear me by the Holy Ghost. Y'all married folks, listen, and those who want to be married. Once you give them the best of you, they're going to give you the best of them. It'll be a reciprocal relationship, if not a plus more. This woman is doing everything. She's checking all the boxes. What do I have that she cannot have? I'll tell people quite often, I know how to get all of a man's money. Right? Because that's all we hear. Get your bag, girl. Get the bag. Get all his money. I know how to get all of his money. You want me to tell you? You want the tricks? You want the secret? Let me put you up on game. Okay. A man will give you all of his money when you respect him, when you honor him, when you esteem him above everybody else, when you protect him and his secrets, when you don't devalue who he is, when you put that S on that man's chest. I tell my ladies quite often, you are the one who puts that S on your man's chest. When you make him Superman, when he knows that if you're crying in distress, he can go in that phone booth, pull off them glasses, open up that shirt and come to your rescue, and you are thankful for everything he has done, he'll give you every dime he got. You can have the credit card, the number to all the passwords, all the PIN numbers. He's going to give you everything because you have given him everything. Don't withhold your body. You got a headache every day. Now you wondering why Barbara over there spending up all your money. That's all I'm saying. Okay. But if you want to get that's how you get it. Honestly. And you didn't have to do anything manipulative for that to happen because the way you love him flows from a love of the Lord. It's a life pleasing to God for a woman to love her husband, to esteem her husband, to respect her husband. I know in Ephesians 5:22, it says for the husband to love his wife. I get that. But for the wife to respect her husband and esteem him, he give you every dime he got. Every dime. All right. Now, almost 15 years later, processed, healed, and whole, I believe for the first time in life that I'm ready to be the gift. Bring joy and favor that comes with me when I am found. I want to give him the Cheshire cat grin. Wow, this woman, I've been praying for her. Where's she been my whole life? At my house. Just at my house. Where I've been. Yep, that's where I've been. Have you worked on you? That's our question for tonight. Have you identified the areas that need processing? Because again, we always want to look at the other person. And if you're not with anybody right now, if you're single like me, these are your moments to work on you. I know that breakup was hard. I know your heart is broke. I know that if you can get that man back tomorrow, you'd be right over there. Child, let me tell you something. Don't you get caught back up. Not unless the Lord tells you, and God ain't going to tell you to put yourself back into nothing that was not beneficial for you and for the person. He will not. You better hear from God on that very clearly before you start doing stuff. Hear me by the Holy Ghost. But while you have these single moments, process you. And for those of us who are already married, still work on you. Where do you have bad habits and tendencies? What are things that you need to work on? Write it down. Find scripture. Find a coach. The reason I do Titus 2 women is to help them be better women, better wives, and better mothers. That's the calling of God on my life. That is the calling of God on my life. And there's anybody who wants to join Titus 2, here's how you do it. You just send us an email. Send us a current picture and I will respond. I know I have an email sitting in there, but it was Resurrection Day. I didn't do any emails today, but I will. I'm just trying to teach you how to be the best you can be so that you can be the best you to somebody else. So they're never embarrassed or ashamed of who you are. Because I've experienced that before. It is not fun. It's not pleasant. It makes you feel bad. Makes you feel shame, and that doesn't come from God. Have you acknowledged that you might need to more time to get yourself together so you don't jack up somebody else's life? I had to acknowledge that. I thought I was ready right after he left. 15 years later, I'm ready. I'm ready. Ready. 15 years. And who's to say it will happen? Who? I don't know when, but I know I'm still working on me. We all have room to grow. Are you ready to receive the gift or to be the gift? As I do every night, I've went over. I'm sorry, y'all, for going long, but I really feel like sometimes these things just really need to be discussed. Do you know him? You get to decide yes or no. I'm not asking you, do you know who he is? I'm asking you, do you know him in the most intimate way of knowing another person? And he can be known that way. That is a relationship that is between you and him. It's committed. Got to be committed. If you have commitment issues, it might not be your jam, but it is a committed relationship between you and the Lord. There are certain things I might not do as much as other people, but me and God, we locked in. I'm locked in with the Lord. I love God with everything that I have. I love him. And because I love him, I'll know how to love somebody else because I love me now and I didn't always. He wants you to know him. His friendship is available to you. And not only that, but he also gives the free gift of his Holy Spirit who walks through the healing process. He walks you through that healing process. I'm rooting for you. All righty, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Tomorrow night, day 60, my glass tabletop desk. Tomorrow, we're talking about my glass tabletop desk. If you would like the video, share it if you're able. I'm trying to get 5 shares tonight, y'all. Invite a friend tomorrow. I do appreciate you joining me so much. I hope these are helpful to you. I'm giving you all the game. That way you don't stumble like I did. It's not necessary for us all to stumble. You can learn from my mistakes. Anywho, love you guys to the moon and back, and we will see you next time.